All right, so let's talk about the ideal day, how to structure your day as a salesperson to honestly just maximize commissions, maximize the amount of revenue that you're bringing into the business so you can make the most money, right? As a salesperson, I like salespeople because, and I love doing sales. It's such a great training ground for entrepreneurship and for business because you have to think through things like a business person. And a business person was starting a company and then hiring people. You're constantly trying to pull yourself into higher dollar per hour tasks. So you're gonna do the same thing as a salesperson. You're gonna try and move yourself to that dollar per hour task, which what is that as a salesperson? Closing conversations. When you have a closing conversation is when you get contract, when you get payment, and that's when you get paid. So what you're trying to do with your ideal day is you want to structure it so that you're trying to move all of the different pipelines and leads to the closing calls, and you're trying to stay on closing calls as much as humanly possible. So what is the ideal day and how I would structure things? I would have your training be the first thing, and I would prioritize training because let's look at the best athletes ever, right? Kobe, MJ, Tom Brady. These guys trained all the time, even at the peak level that they got to. And so if you're not training as a professional in sales, you're not keeping your skills sharp. And if your skills aren't sharp, you can't make a bunch of money just playing a numbers game. You're gonna have to play the skill game. You want to just be a savage on the phone, not like bulldogging people. I mean savage like you're super good. Like you're a great communicator, you know how to make the close. So to do that, you got to train your skills every day. I do 30 minutes. And then what's cool about that is it sets the cadence for the day in terms of your tone, right? You're doubling down on the tone. You're doubling down on like the objection handling thing that you're working on at the moment. You're doubling down on the script and knowing the process. You're setting up your day, on the right foot. So it's training for 30 minutes. The next thing would be confirming your calendar, right? So confirming those closing calls to ensure that they show, because if they don't show, that crap sucks, right? You're trying to confirm those calls. Now, when you do confirm, I like to do email and text. So I send an email, and the email is like, this is really important information for the call, and it has some sort of content in that email that gets them moving towards more problem aware, more solution aware, more brand aware, or more product aware. I just want to get them moving towards the sale with that piece of content. So I send an email and then I send a text. Hey, I sent a pretty important email for a call today. Did you get it? I'm not sending anything that's like, hey, are we still going to make the time today? Hey, does 2 o'clock still work? It just gives permission for people to reschedule. If you're doing that and you notice people are rescheduling a lot, that's why. So I'm assuming they're showing, and I'm giving homework, so to say, and it just kind of helps with the status frame with me as a salesperson as well. The next thing is basically making sure, because depending on your sales process or the company you're working for, you're gonna have inbound leads that were sort of already triaged and set by like an SDR, or you're gonna have ones that got booked just from the website or from ads. Like the funnel booked it in, like automation booked it in, not a person. The temperature I've noticed on those two different leads is different. Obviously the temperature is hotter on a lead that's been triaged already. So the next activity I would do is triaging the inbound calls, like as in the calls that are tomorrow or 2 days away or 3 days away, calling those folks with your triaging process, which is like your qualifying and warming process before the closing call. Because you want to wipe out people, you want to admin cancel people from your calendar who are not qualified for the sale, because again, you're trying to maximize your calendar. Now, you would be more rigorous in canceling people if you have high lead flow in your ecosystem. If you have low lead flow, you triage, but you still keep them, because the idea is full calendar is better than not a full calendar. So you're gonna have to ebb and flow based on the marketing and lead system that you have in the business or that the company is providing for you. But the triaging process then is an outbound call. So say you got 3 people booked in for tomorrow. They got booked in by automation through the funnel. An SDR didn't set them. I'd be outbound calling them. Hey, yeah, is this, John? Yeah, who the heck is this? Hey, this is just, Taylor with XYZ company. I saw you booked in my calendar tomorrow about possible help with A, B, and C. Look, I only had a couple of minutes. I just wanted to ask you a few questions so that way, I wanted to get the most out of the call for you tomorrow. Would that help you? Yeah, that'd be amazing. Cool. And then you start some qualifying questions. So situation stuff, more information, fact stuff, right? It's just like fact, logistical stuff. What is their current situation? And then just some level of problem awareness. I go over the SDR process in another video, but you're essentially SDRing, process, outbound process, triaging this person using a triaging script. And then it's like, cool, that's pretty much all I needed. We can chat through the rest of this tomorrow. I think I have something that might be able to help with the thing that you just shared. So you kind of leave them on a cliffhanger, and now they're more likely to show. They've been qualified. They've had a human interaction. So like the likelihood of this person closing now just went up. Then you're taking your closing calls. That's the next part of your day. So now you're taking your closing calls and you do the thing, you sell. After that, there's a couple of things I would do for your ideal day, and it's going to require diligence. The first thing is, if your company is not requiring you to track your own stats, track your own stats, be a pro. I always tracked my own stats. I knew my numbers better than every company I worked for. I was just kind of super OCD about it. Track stats, calls, no-show rate, admin cancel rate, reschedule rate, self-cancel rate, obviously closing conversion, your paid in full rate, average cash collected per unit. Run all those numbers. So like record your stats at the end of the day. And then I would listen to one of your calls, like for 15 or 20 minutes. It's basically like game tape review. It's like, hey, look at how you did that day. See how you showed up. And you can look at the correlation between your energy and process that you used and not making sales and making sales. But even if you take 20 minutes at the end of your day to do, some game footage, and look at recorded calls, or look at recorded calls from other people who are winning. If you're sucking, just looking at some game footage would be the last thing. So that's how you wrap up your day. So you can see you kind of start and finish your day with training. The core meat and potatoes of your day is the actual closing calls. And then the other activity is to push people to the closing calls. Now, when you have a no-show, the other hierarchy you can do is the stuff I've already mentioned, right? So it's like, if you still haven't confirmed calls, then do more confirmations. If you still haven't triaged everyone in your future calendar, triage them. But then the next activity would be rescheduling past no-shows, okay? Then the next activity would be calling past sales for referrals. And then the next activity would be outbounding new leads to move them through the sales process to the closing calendar. So that way, at any given point in time during the day, you are doing the next highest leverage activity to move people to the closing call, because that's where commission is for you. Hopefully this was very simple, and hopefully it was not groundbreaking, but who knows, it could have been groundbreaking for you. But structure your day, have it outlined, be violent with your calendar and how you set it up. And as a salesperson, if you do this, you can make a lot more sales and hopefully enjoy just the rhythm of your day, so you actually know what to